Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now, and today it's the first of two mailbags. The second one will be later this week, but we're going to answer all of your guys' Eagle-related questions and, of course, cover some of the news and rumors regarding the Philadelphia Eagles, as we always do here on a Philadelphia Eagles Now mailbag video. So if you asked a question on yesterday's video, it probably is one of the ones I'm pulling here. Let's go and start with the first one from Dylan Duncan, who asked, what are the top 5 Eagles that missed the top NFL 100 players? Okay, so if you don't know what this is, the NFL has the players rank the top players in the NFL from 1 to 100. So here are the 5 Eagle players who are actually in the top 100. They were towards the back end side, but Brandon Brooks was 98, Jason Kelce was 94, Darius Slay was 92, Zach Ertz was 85, and Fletcher Cox was 73. Now, do I have a massive problem with any of the players that the Eagles actually made in the top 100? Really, no. Brooks, to me, is a little bit too low in terms of being 98. To me, he's the best right guard in the National Football League. I would have bumped him up a lot higher than that one, but at least he made the top 100. Jason Kelce was the only center in the entire NFL to make the top 100, so I guess it makes sense he's there at 94, although he was in the 70s last year, made another first-team All-Pro, and went back 20 spots. So it was a little weird with that overall. Darius Slay, I guess, technically had a down year for his 70-plus years in the National Football League, but he is in there, obviously with the Lions last year, Philadelphia this year. And then Ertz and Fletcher Cox both had, we'll call them down years in 2019 because Ertz was injured and Cox's numbers went down big time from what they were from 2018 to 2019. So all those players deserve to be there. They might be a little too low, but I'm fine with where they are at so far. The problem is the amount of Eagle players that didn't make the NFL top 100. And there's two really that make absolutely no sense why they were left out. Where is Carson Wentz and where is Lane Johnson? The snubbing of Lane Johnson is one of the weirdest things in the NFL. He's never really been high in the top 100 list, and this year not even on the top 100 list, and yet he's one of the top 5 right tackles in the entire National Football League and dominates opposing pass rushers week in and week out. Carson Wentz is the one that makes zero sense. And you cannot sit here and tell me that Carson Wentz does not deserve to be in the top 100 when Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and a host of Jimmy Garoppolo all made. Jimmy Garoppolo was 43 overall. Dak Prescott was 46. Dak Prescott went 8-8 last year. A little bit better individual stats than Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz actually beat Dak Prescott and went to the postseason throwing to nobody. So the list, honestly, to me is kind of a joke. I think the NFL players focus on 1 through 10. They don't really care the rankings of everybody else. That's why, you have some weird snubs in here. Todd Gurley was in the 50s. It's a weird overall list, but really, if I had to say 2 Eagles that should have been on the list, it's Lane Johnson and Carson Wentz. I think Miles Sanders next year will be on the list, and Rodney McLeod, if I had to pick one more, but on that list as well. But really, Carson Wentz and Lane Johnson are the 2 big snubs for me in the NFL Top 100 list. Like the video. This one right now, if you guys agree that Carson Wentz was snubbed for being in the top 100, it's you can't put Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, and Jimmy Garoppolo in the top 100 and not have Carson Wentz. Like the video if you guys agree with me on that one. All right, moving on. Next question here is Frank. He says, which team is most likely to make a big move, the Eagles or the Cowboys? Okay, I actually took this a step further, and we'll show you the entire NFC East cap space situation here in 2020. So the Washington football team, yes, the Washington football team has the most free cap space in the NFC East. They have $26 million. The Eagles have $20.8 million. Cowboys have 7, and the Giants have 6. So the simple answer there is obviously Philadelphia. They have more money to do so, although as we've talked about here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, they're going to try to save some of that $20 million and roll it over to next year when Philadelphia is negative like $51 million in cap space. So the odds are they don't use that to make a move, but if they wanted to make a move, or any one of the NFC East teams wanted to make a move, here are the 5 best players available in free agency according to myself. Clowney is obviously 1. Larry Wofford, the guard, is number 2. Logan Ryan, the cornerback, is number 3. Everson Griffin is 4. And Damon Snacks Harrison sits there at 5, the big D tackle formerly of the New York Football Giants. So if you wanted to sign anybody, it'd be Clowney, Logan Ryan, or Everson Griffin. But as we have talked about for months and months and months, if Philadelphia was going to do a deal, they would have done it already. Like, the only reason they now would go sign one of these guys is if someone else gets injured. So if Brandon Graham or Derek Barnett was hurt, then sure, you'd sign Clowney. Or if Darius Slay got hurt, then sure, maybe go out and sign Logan Ryan. But if they actually wanted these guys before injuries, they would have made a move by now. And so I would honestly answer your question by saying no team is more likely to make a big move. Dallas and the Giants have no money. Washington, again, they would have done something. They haven't. Clement, and Philadelphia doesn't have the money really in the future to do so, but if they wanted to do something up to this point, they would have probably already done it. Do you guys think the Eagles need to make another move? Do you really believe that another move is going to make a massive difference for Philadelphia? Sure, Clowney and Logan Ryan and Everson Griffin would all be moves I'd be for if you could figure out the money, but do they really need to make that move with Hargrave and Cox and Malik Jackson? We'll let you guys answer that in the comment section. Y for yes, N for no down below. Before we move on, there are some hats that are on sale, and they are fantastic and way cheaper than what they normally are right now. Chatsports.com/Eagles hats have all the main hats on sale up to 50% off. So they have the Eagle logo. This is my favorite one with the gold trim. Is $19.99 right now. You have the Fly Eagles Fly one, only $11.99 overall. The flat bill, which honestly would look great, wear that one backwards. That one is $19.99 as well. And then the all black Color Rush hat is $22.99. All on sale, all discounted, and right there at the link in the description box. Chatsports.com/Eagles hats. Eagles hats. Want to make sure I get the link right. Chatsports.com/Eagles hats. You see it down below me. Again, all on sale. Some of them up to 50% off. Jump on those deals. Rep the Eagles. Wear that hat right now. Again, it's all linked down below in the comment section. Sean's asks, we sign McCoy, who's the odd man out? This is an interesting question because yesterday we talked about how McCoy is talking to his favorite teams, which one of them most likely is Philadelphia, and yet here we are again. The Eagles have not signed LeSean McCoy, but I guess if you were to, the odd man out is probably Elijah Holyfield. He would probably be cut during training camp because you got too many other backs. So Sanders and Boston Scott, we've said before, are absolute locks. They will be there at running back the start of week 1. I put McCoy there at 3, fighting for that third roster spot along with Clement. Then, what do Killings and Warren do? Are they both on the practice squad? Do you keep one, cut one? They have a lot of very young running backs who are going to try to go ahead and get some playing time. So I guess if you did sign LeSean McCoy, you would go ahead and let go of Elijah Holyfield because they signed him in December. Then they recently signed Clement, so it'd make more sense to keep Clement over Holyfield. McCoy is interesting because we all think, Eagle fans, people who cover Philadelphia, you think LeSean McCoy, you think like 2015 LeSean McCoy, you think of a young, shady, back and forth, 1,000-yard rushing, 500 yards receiving, but in reality, both he and then a guy like Devonte Freeman, who has also been rumored to be linked to Philadelphia, just haven't been the same since injuries. McCoy only 465 yards last year, Freeman a little bit more, but not much, 656 yards, 4 touchdowns versus 2. You're not getting a starter quality back. You're getting really a third-string running back who's going to have a limited role in the Eagles offense. And so again, the question becomes, do you need a third one? Do you not trust Holyfield or Clement or Killings or Warren? Or do you trust them and you just want to go ahead and roll with Sanders, Scott, and Clement as your 1, 2, and 3? We'll see. I have no idea what they're going to do, but apparently McCoy is talking to his favorite teams like we said. If Philly's one of them, then maybe something happens the next couple of weeks. If the Eagles do decide to bring back LeSean McCoy or make any of these moves in free agency, and of course, all the training camp coverage we'll have for you guys here. Don't worry. As soon as it happens, we'll have it covered. So go ahead and subscribe to Philadelphia Eagles Now. That way you guys can be ready and notified whenever we drop the news if McCoy comes back, or drop the news if they went for Clowney or Griffin, or if there's injuries in training camp, knock on wood, heaven forbid, whatever it is, we have you guys covered here at Philadelphia Eagles Now. Patrick asks here, let's see what Patrick wants. He says, how do you think the O-line will fare meeting Chase Young week 1? Be a good test. I mean, listen, it's going to be a very good test. I don't think Chase Young walks in day 1 and has a 5-sack game against Philadelphia. Philadelphia recently has been very good against Washington. Wentz was only sacked 3 times last season, and now you're adding Chase Young, so that adds a little bit of trouble, I would say. The Redskins D-line is good, right? They have Kerrigan, they have Allen, they have Payne, they have Young, and they even have MOTT'S Sweat, who was drafted last season. So it'll be a good test for Andre Dillard and Jason Peters, left tackle, and right guard, to see how good Philadelphia can hold up. But recently, in terms of Washington coming after Carson Wentz, the Eagles have done a very good job, particularly against the Redskins, whereas Washington's been a top sack team in the NFL the past couple of years. So it'll be a good test, but I think that they'll win the battle and win the test, and hopefully Dillard, the main focus on week 1, is going to go ahead and perform well going up against the rookie in Chase Young. David asked, do you think the Eagles will sign a veteran? If so, who? We just talked about that. Here, I'll throw it up again just for if you guys are wanting to see the list again. Best 5 free agents available right now: Clowney, Warford, Logan Ryan, Everson Griffin, Damon Harris. I would take Griffin because he's the cheapest, but I don't think they're going to sign anybody, so who knows? Who do you guys think Philadelphia should sign? Name a free agent you want the Eagles to sign in the comment section. I'll review that and probably reply to you if I agree in the comment section down below. Skill Dreams asks, think Adams could be a big trouble in our game against the Seahawks, or do you think we will be able to play around him? No, I don't think it's going to be a massive thing. I mean, listen, safeties, How many safeties in the NFL history have been the #1 game changer for a football team? Like Ed Reed? I mean, even Dawkins was great, but it's not like Dawkins made up the entire Eagles defense. They had great pass rushers and good cornerbacks at the same time. So the quick answer overall, I want to say, is no. Matthew asked, better team, Seahawks or Eagles after the Jamal Adams trade? It's interesting people are really worried about the Seahawks after getting Jamal Adams. Okay, I'll ask you guys first. Who do you think is the better team right now? Unbiased, though, right? Because most Eagle fans will type the Eagles. Who is the better team? Eagles or Seahawks? Type E down below for Eagles. Type S down below for Seahawks. I think if you're going to compare these two teams, the way to compare them is on the defensive line. And if you compare the Eagles' defensive line to Seattle's defensive line, Philadelphia is way better up front. So Seattle's front four, literally, Bruce Irvin, Poona Ford, Jaron Reed, and Benson Mayowa. It's just not a very good front four. Do you recognize any of those names besides the washed-up and, 35-year-old Bruce Irvin? No, versus Philadelphia, who has Derek Barnett and Fletcher Cox and Malik Jackson and Javon Hargrave and Brandon Graham and Jannard Avery. I mean, they have a ton, and Josh Sweat. They have a ton of great overall pass rushers. So if you're going just straight D-line versus D-line, Philadelphia is better. Honestly, even with Seattle's secondary, it's not like it's a world-beating secondary. Like, yeah, Shaq Griffin, Jamal Adams, Quadri Diggs, and Quentin Dunbar aren't bad. They're probably a little bit better than the Eagles secondary, but the Eagles still have Jalen Mills, Rodney McLeod, Darius Slay they added this year, and then whoever starts opposite of Slay at cornerback, whether it's Avonte Maddox or Sidney Jones. So, I mean, offensively, I think the Eagles have better weapons. I think the running backs are very similar. I think Miles Sanders has a better upside. Wentz and Wilson are very similar in terms of their overall playing style. I think both are level-headed, big-time playmakers, so they're very even in teams overall, but at the better team, I think, you go defensive line, it's going to be Philadelphia. That will be my final answer. Lock it in. Although I'll finish with this, because we're running out of time. Seattle has had Philadelphia's number the past couple of years, including the postseason last year, including that week, whatever it was, 13-14 matchup in Philadelphia. They play again this year, so hopefully Adams doesn't make a big deal. Hopefully the Eagles can finally get over the Russell Wilson hump and win a game against the Seahawks here in 2020. There you go. All time we have for today here on this Philadelphia Eagles mailbag. Want to answer your guys' questions. Plenty more videos upcoming this week, so stay tuned for those. Just be subscribed, notification bell, the way you guys are notified when a new one is dropped. All time we have for today, again, for Philadelphia Eagles Now, I'm Thomas Motts, signing off for the rest of your day.